This is Jean Kalman, the oldest person in history, a lifespan of 122 years and 164 days. She was born in 1875, 14 years before the Eiffel Tower was built.
As a teenager, she met Van Gogh in her family's art supply shop. He was, she later said, dirty, badly dressed, and disagreeable. She took up fencing at 85, was still cycling at 100, and smoked until she was 117. Only stopped because her eyesight made it hard to use a lighter. The most iconic reason to quit smoking. She passed away from natural causes in 1997, and the record is still standing. But her story is an exception, and exceptions usually point to a rule. Because beneath her life and all of ours, there is a pattern. The same one every time, everywhere. My name is Lilith. I'm 32. My odds of dying this year are roughly 0.1%, about 1 in 890. And if you're my age, your odds are no better. Most people think of aging as something that happens on the outside. Wrinkles, grey hair, moving a little slower. But the real story is happening somewhere far more interesting. Deep inside every cell of our bodies.
The thing is, they have a built-in limit on how many times they can divide. Each division slightly shortens the protective caps at the ends of chromosomes, called telomeres. Every division clips them a little more. When they become critically short, the cell stops dividing entirely.
It becomes senescent, or so-called zombie cell. And a zombie cell, it doesn't die, it lingers, releasing a constant stream of inflammatory signals that slowly damage everything around it. As we age, zombie cells accumulate faster than our body can clear them, and that accumulation starts a cascade.
Mitochondria, the structures that generate energy inside every cell, begin to decline. Less efficient, leaking damaging molecules that attack the DNA and proteins. Our immune system, which has been a protective network throughout our entire life, weakens. Cancers that would once have been caught early slip through. Infections that would once have been handled become dangerous.
Each failure feeds the others. Mitochondrial dysfunction accelerates DNA damage. DNA damage accelerates senescence. Senescent cell damage mitochondria. The system doesn't fail in one place. It fails everywhere at once, gradually. But here's the thing. That cascade isn't random. And that 0.1% I mentioned, it's not fixed. There is a formula running underneath your life right now, and someone figured it out 200 years ago without knowing a single thing about cells.
The year was 1825, London. A British actuary named Benjamin Gompertz, a man whose job was literally to calculate the price of human life for insurance companies, stands before the Royal Society with death records and calculations.
No understanding of why bodies fail, no cell theory, no DNA, no molecular biology, none of that existed yet. And from the numbers alone, he uncovers something that most people wouldn't want to know. A way to predict the length of a human life.
After early adulthood, your probability of dying in any given year doesn't just increase, it doubles, constantly and predictably, roughly every 8 years. So if your risk of dying at 32 is, say, X, whatever that number is for your population, by 40, it's 2 times X. By 48, 4 times. By 56, 8 times X, and so on.
This is called the Gompertz Law of Mortality, and it has held across every human population ever studied. Sweden in 1900s, India in 1950s, the United States today, across countries, centuries, and wildly different levels of healthcare, medicine, and quality of life. The curve is always the same, and not just for us.
The same pattern appears across almost the entire animal kingdom. Mice, flies, fish, dogs, chimpanzees, different doubling times, different absolute numbers, but the same shape. The same exponential climb, as if aging follows a universal instruction buried deep in biology that evolution, across hundreds of millions of years, never bothered to remove. Plot that pattern against age and it looks like a white, lopsided U.
The curve is elevated at birth. The first weeks carry real danger. Then risk drops through childhood, reaching the lowest point somewhere in the early teens. This is when we're statistically the least likely to die at any point in our entire lives. Then something happens between 15 and 25.
Mortality spikes upward, not from disease, not from body failing, but from accidents, risk-taking, and the particular recklessness of being young and feeling invincible. No other animal has this combination. A long juvenile period followed by a sudden burst of independence before the brain is ready to handle it.
The prefrontal cortex, responsible for evaluating consequences, doesn't fully mature until around 25. And for a decade, that mismatch shows up in the mortality data. Then it fades. The mid-20s arrive, risk dips briefly, and that's when the Gompertz climb begins, doubling every 8 years in humans, every 3 months in mice, and so on. The shape is universal. The pace is not.
Now, Jean Kalman pushed further along that curve than anyone in recorded history. But she didn't escape it. She just had exceptional biological resilience, DNA repair, and cellular maintenance that kept her doubling time slightly wider than most. She still aged, just more slowly and from a stronger starting position.
Which tells us something important. The curve is not identical for everyone. Biology can move it. And this raises a question. Can we move it deliberately? It turns out something already has, and it lives in underground tunnels in East Africa.
The naked mole rat. In terms of aging biology, it is perhaps the most important creature on Earth. Unlike every other mammal ever studied, unlike Jean, unlike the oldest people in Okinawa and Sardinia, the naked mole rat's risk of dying does not increase with age. A 20-year-old naked mole rat is no more likely to die in a given year than a 2-year-old one. The curve simply does not apply to them. They live for over 30 years, no heart problems, no bone deterioration, no metabolic decline, and they almost never get cancer. In decades of captivity observation, spontaneous tumors are essentially unheard of.
If you calculated a Gompertz doubling time for a naked mole rat, it would be approximately 115 years, compared to 8 years for humans. 115 versus 8. Their zombie cells are cleared far more efficiently than ours. Their DNA repair mechanisms are exponential. Their proteins resist damage extraordinarily well. The compounding cascade that drives the Gompertz doubling in every other mammal simply doesn't happen at the same rate. The naked mole rat found a biological solution through millions of years of evolution. The naked mole rat found a biological solution through millions of years of evolution, which means the solution exists. It is physically possible to be a mammal and not age the way we age.
And if you think the mole rat is wild, meet Turritopsis dohrnii, the so-called immortal jellyfish. When stressed or injured, it can revert its cells entirely back to juvenile state and restart its life cycle from scratch. Not heal, rewind. It is, as far as we know, the only creature on Earth that can do this.
So the solution exists. Somewhere in the biology of wrinkled underground rodent and a tiny translucent jellyfish is proof that aging doesn't have to work the way it does in us. The question isn't whether we can find it, it's whether we can find it in time. Because right now, 150,000 people will die today, and almost all of them will die because of the curve. The search starts with the zombie cells, because if their accumulation is one of the core drivers of Gompertz doubling, the most direct approach is quite clear: destroy them.
Scientists have developed drugs called senolytics specifically designed to do exactly that. In animal models, they've improved heart function, reduced inflammation, and extended healthy lifespan. Human trials are underway.
And then there is what many researchers consider the most exciting front of all: cellular reprogramming. The jellyfish found it by accident. We're trying to find it on purpose.
In 2006, Japanese scientist Shinya Yamanaka, who later won the Nobel Prize, discovered that adult cells could be reprogrammed back toward the younger state using just 4 specific proteins, now called Yamanaka Factors.
The problem with going all the way back is that the cell loses their identity. Cancer risk increases, so researchers develop partial reprogramming, turning the clock back far enough to restore youthful genes, without losing what makes a liver cell a liver cell.
In mice, a Salk Institute study found that partial reprogramming improved tissue repair, reversed physical signs of aging, and extended lifespan by 30%. And in February 2026, Professor David Sinclair of Harvard Medical School announced at the World Government Summit that his team is preparing to launch the first human clinical trials of epigenetic reprogramming therapies.
Not to slow down aging, to reverse it. Sinclair is a polarizing figure in the field. Some colleagues question his bolder claims, but the trials are real.
He described aging as scratches on a CD. The DNA holds the original music of youth, but over time, the playback gets disrupted by chemical and physical changes. His team has found ways to polish the system and restore cellular function.
To be clear, we're still largely in mouse territory. Mice are not humans, but mice were also once the only animals where we could study cancer, and now we have chemotherapy. So, as of 2026, there are no approved therapies specifically targeting aging. Science is real and advancing faster than at any point in human history. The gap between mouse and human is still enormous. The history of medicine is full of treatments that worked in animals and failed in people, but it is, for the first time, a gap people are actively crossing. The scientists in this field are not promising immortality. They're promising something more modest, and in some ways more important. More time, better time, a longer period of genuine health before the curve catches up. And it raises a question nobody has a clear answer to yet. If these therapies work, who gets access? The history of medicine suggests they won't reach everyone at once, and probably not equally. I think that conversation needs to start before the science arrives.
Benjamin Gompertz found a pattern in 1825 from nothing but death records and mathematics. He didn't know about DNA or mitochondria or zombie cells. He just looked at the numbers, and the numbers told him something true.
That death follows a law. It is a biological outcome, not a destiny. The Gompertz law says your risk doubles every 8 years, but the same biology that wrote that law also wrote the naked mole rat, a creature that simply didn't read it. But we have. We have read that law in mathematics of our own mortality and decided to argue with it. Thank you for your time. See you in the next video.